I'm looking at two medium format cameras. I have here in my hands the Pentax 645Z, and Salina has the Fujifilm GFX 50R. We've been shooting for about 20 minutes, and Salina, you've only looked at the photos from the GFX 50R so far. What do you think of them?
I really like them. I really like the colors that pop in it, and it really does make me look more dramatic. Like,
yeah.
It has more going on with the picture.
Probably because the medium format sensor in both cameras capture a lot of detail. So it's probably pulling out all the detail in your skin and your wardrobe as well. Let's swap really quick so you can look at some of the photos from here. There you go. So just a quick review of the photos. What do you think of them? Because pretty much they're the same. I would be shooting 2 or 3 shots from the GFX 50R, then I will swap out, as you've probably seen in the video with the 645Z. But looking at the photos from here, what is the difference?
It's definitely the contrast, the color contrast. I mean, they're the same pictures, but
yes,
this one just feels
the Fujifilm
more,
real life, or
it just feels more, how do I say that, like the colors
lifelike,
just really
kind of pop.
Yeah, and this one's good too, but
yeah.
I like that one.
Okay. I'm doing my best to make white balance automatic. I've been shooting at ISO 100, and both lenses wide open at 2.8. This has a 45mm and this has a 55mm. But this 55mm has been designed for the digital age of the Pentax 645. So this is the closest lens I could get that would match this. But Salina has more outfits to shoot in. So right now we're gonna keep on shooting. See, the hair's okay because it's gonna show in the pics I usually. Battery life in both cameras are pretty good. This is rated at 400 shots by CIPA, and the Pentax 645Z is rated at 650 shots. I think primarily because it doesn't have an EVF but an optical viewfinder. Both are still pretty expensive. This came out a while ago in 2014, but right now it's on sale at about $5,000, and the 50R is being sold for about $4,500, and this is all of priced in March of 2019. And now we're going to take a look at both video. They both have the same specs, 1080p at 30 frames per second. Okay, both are recording on 1080p at 30 frames per second. My left hand is starting to hurt because I'm holding this heavy Pentax 645Z. I can tell the Fujifilm is autofocusing on Salina's face. I can feel the autofocus motor moving in the lens. And the 645Z, I don't know if it's autofocusing or not. I can't really tell. But I have to look at both of these files on the computer side by side. Both of these cameras feel pretty good in the hands. The 50R, now that I'm holding it compared to the 645Z, I think it has less of a grip in my opinion, and it feels like sometimes it may kind of slip off, but I'm pretty sure you can buy like an aftermarket extender or grip that goes on this. The 645Z has a very deep grip that you can hold. Another huge difference is there's a top LCD screen on the Pentax, and there's no LCD screen on the Fujifilm, but both screens at the back can actually tilt out and even tilt down. Sorry, tilt up and also tilt down. This has, both cameras have weather sealing. This has, I believe, 64 seals, and the Pentax, because it's a larger camera, has around 76 sales. The weight with battery and SD cards in this is about 1.7 pounds, but the Pentax is pretty heavy with the battery and SD cards at 3.4 pounds. And Salina, now you've tried and held the Pentax, how does it feel to you compared to the Fujifilm?
Well, this is definitely bulkier and heavier. I guess I just like this one because it's more, well, it's lighter, it's more durable, and it's easier to carry. That's the only difference I have with it.
This was like a real camera.
Yeah.
Like you can take it with you through the jungle and it can get scratched up and you can get banged up and it'll be okay kind of camera. This is like you can take it anywhere with you, even on travel. I think Fujifilm wanted this to be like a street and also travel camera.
I can see that.
Yeah, because it's lightweight. Okay, sun's slowly going down, so we'll keep on shooting. So what's wrong? But still, this seems sharper though.
I still wonder from time to time if I'm fooling myself with lies. It's creeping up.
I feel kind of embarrassed. I didn't know how to turn on the movie mode for the 645Z, and then Salina said, "Isn't this the dial you turn for movie mode?" I'm just not used to doing video. Of course, I'm a photographer. But I want to talk to you about some of the internal features of both cameras. Both actually have the same 51 megapixel sensor made by Sony from my understanding. And every manufacturer, even the Hasselblad X1D has the same sensor, but every manufacturer puts its pipelines in it and tweaks the colors and different things about the sensor. It's pretty technical when you get into it. But yeah, both sensors are the same. This has 27 focus points, but 25 of the points are cross points. This has 117 contrast detect points, but it can go up to 425 contrast detect points. This has a very beautiful OVF, optical viewfinder, 0.85 magnification, very huge when you look through it, very bright. Frame coverage is about 98%, 2% from 100, you won't even notice the difference. This has awesome EVF, electronic viewfinder, at 3.6 million dots, 0.77x magnification, so not as big as the 645Z, but it does have 100% frame coverage. Okay, Salina is ready. She's in her bodycon dress, and we're gonna go down and shoot against the rocks.
I still wonder from time to time if I'm fooling myself with lies. It's creeping up on me sometimes.
Okay, slowly work your way back.
I should stop and just reset.
Okay. But we could start standing. If you get 3/4 light. Okay, the cool thing about the GFX 50R 1, 2, and 3 is it has face and eye detection. And what's pretty cool is you can actually tell the camera which eye is priority. And I have it on Salina's right eye. As you can see, it's focusing on her right eye. And it's pretty responsive when you press play. You can see a picture of Salina, and the touchscreen is pretty awesome. You can double tap and zoom in. And as you can see, her eyes are super sharp. Move it around is very responsive. Double tap to move out, and even just changing photos, very responsive. Let's check out the 645Z. It actually does have face detection. And so let me put it in live view mode, which it is already. And it is somewhat slow. 1, 2, and 3. And it does make a loud clank, and it takes a little bit for the live view to come back on. But in the menu system, as I'm going to show you now, under live view, there is actually face and eye detection. Okay, and you will see it actually detect. It doesn't say it in the menu, but okay, let me see if I can get Salina's eye in focus. 1, 2, and 3. Oh, it's not showing up. Let me go a little closer. A little bit slow to focus. But I do sometimes see the box around her eyes, 1, 2, and 3. And of course, no touchscreen at all. Playback, let me press play. A little bit slow to bring up. Zooming in, you have to zoom in using a dial. But you can see it's a very sharp lens. Okay, we'll keep on shooting. Take some shots right there in the middle. Get some high ISO shots.
I still wonder from time to time if I'm fooling myself with lies. It's creeping up.
So this is a pretty dark spot underneath the cliff line of some rocks, 1, 2, and 3. I'm shooting at ISO 6400. I want to see the high ISO of both cameras. So I'm just framing Salina half body, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, hold on, let me change cameras to the Pentax. And both cameras set ISO, again, 6400. And just want to see on the computer when I get home how the files compare. Okay, one more test shot. Nice. Okay, we should be good. Okay, we're done with our photo shoot. I hope I got enough files to compare between the 645Z and the 50R in Lightroom. Towards the end of the photo shoot, I did set both cameras on ISO 100 and 200, and the 50R did set it to about -1.3 exposure compensation, but I forgot to set that on the 645Z. It was actually shooting at 0 exposure compensation, but towards the end, I put both cameras on ISO 400, and both cameras about -1.3 exposure compensation, so just to even it out and expose for the sun in the background. So in Lightroom I could recover Salina because she will be dark because I'm exposing for the sun, and kind of lower down the highlights just to do a fair comparison. My thoughts is it's really hard to say because looking through the optical viewfinder when shooting Salina against the sun, it is actually easier looking through optical viewfinder because I can see everything with the naked eye. Looking through the electronic viewfinder, Salina is more dark compared to the sun in the background because I'm doing exposure compensation -1.3, but it does give you a preview. I'm pretty sure you can change that in the settings, but it does give you a preview of what you're gonna get. So that's like the disadvantage of mirrorless EVF and not OVF. But Salina, what did you think about the photo shoot overall?
I really enjoyed both cameras. The only difference really was just the, as we keep saying it, the exposure and the contrast. But they both turned out really crisp, and
yes,
you know, everything was there. Everything was brought up.
Yes,
I like that about both of it.
Yeah, image quality on both cameras is pretty much the same. Just different colors, different color cast, especially when shooting you against the rock. Like this has more of a cooler tone, bluish. This is more of a warmer, contrasty tone. But of course, when you get it in the computer, you can always post-process and
you can actually make
change the
them
colors.
look exactly the same.
Yes, you can make them look exactly the same. Any final thoughts? Where can our viewers follow you on social media?
So my Instagram handle is at Salina Borja, and my Facebook handle is Salina Borja Eseroma. And then I also have a personal blog, which is Wine with Mom.
And we will put all the links on screen and also in the description below.
Yes.
Any final words before we end our shoot? I had fun as well. Yeah, it's been a while. I think like 2 years.
Yeah.
I know this is your like 4th time on Guam Photography. Thank you for always helping me out.
And
Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Okay, let's look at some RAW files from both cameras. All the files I am going to be showing you is raw and unedited. Nothing has been done to them. These are all straight from the camera. And a small disclaimer, these tests is nothing, it's nowhere near scientific. So it's just me checking out the files and seeing the differences between each camera. And the 3 categories I want to separate this test is number 1 is sharpness, which I know is mainly due to the lens. Second is high ISO, and third is dynamic range. So let's check out the first set of files for sharpness. And I'm going to do my best to make the 645Z on the left hand side. And you'll be noticing that the 645Z has a more warmer magenta tone versus the 50R, which is a more cooler tone. I actually a cooler magenta, and the Pentax is warmer, a little bit greenish from what I've been noticing. So zooming in takes a while because these files are huge, but you can see from Salina's eye on the 50R, it is super, super sharp compared to the 645Z, which is sharp, but not as sharp as the 50R. Okay, next set of photos. Okay, loading them up. Pentax, make it on the left hand side. And again, more warmer and more cooler magenta on the 50R. Zooming in. And if you look at the EXIF data, it's pretty much very similar, and each camera is gaining the exposure right. Now the 645Z is sharp, but man, when you just compare it to the Fujifilm GF lens, crazy sharp, super sharp. Okay, let's check out high ISO. This set is shot at 6400 ISO, Fujifilm left-hand side. Again, nothing has been done to it. Let's zoom in on Salina's hair. If you look carefully, it seems like the 645Z has cleaner noise compared to the 50R, which seems sharper and more apparent. Especially in Salina's hair, above her head, a little bit more noisy, not too sure why. And again, everything has been reset. I see some banding, I'm not too sure why. ISO 6400, the 645Z is very clean. Very clean at 6400. Now, just to be sure, I'm going to check the 50R file. This is 645Z. Check 50R. Okay, develop. Yeah, this is a RF file. Reset. Make sure this is the only one selected. Yeah, nothing's been done to it. But there's some banding going on here. It's pretty interesting. Okay, next set of files. Lower ISO, 1600. Pose is a little different. I had a hard time trying to make them each the same. 50R, lower shutter speed, so a little bit more exposure. Again, a little bit more magenta compared to the Pentax. Just zooming in at ISO 1600. I missed focus here. I do think the Pentax is still cleaner. Let's look at Salina's hair. Definitely it's very sharp for the GFX, but to my eyes, the grain is more smoother on the 645Z. Sorry, I'm supposed to make it on the left hand side. But yes, the grain is more smoother for the 645Z, and the grain seems very fine and more noisy for the 50R. Interesting. Okay, so let's move on to dynamic range. This is a 50R file. This is a 645Z. Okay, now what I noticed is with the Fujifilm files, it is better at highlight recovery. So this is shot 100th of a second. The 645Z is 50th. Both ISO 200. So shutter speed's a little bit off, but Fujifilm highlights, you can lower down, you can recover the sun. 645Z all the way down, not that much. It could be because the exposure is off in each shot. But recovering shadows all the way up, and let's do this all the way up for 645Z, and I'm going to compare both. Okay, now this is what I noticed with the Pentax. Boosting up shadows in Lightroom produces a much cleaner result, and it's still loading on the 50R side. Still loading, there you go. Produces a much cleaner result, less noise. I don't know if you can see it, but I see some noise on Salina's hair here versus a 645Z seems very clean. Boosting up the shadows at 100 in Lightroom. Okay, have another example. This is ISO 200. Now let's just adjust this first. 50R, bringing down the highlights. Wow, that recovered nicely. Boosting up the shadows. Okay, 645Z. Highlights, boosting up the shadows. Okay, let's compare both. Now 645Z on the left hand side. I'm gonna let both files load. I do see better highlight recovery in the 50R. Again, more cooler magenta. Let's just look at the details in the shadows. Zooming in at ISO 200. Again, Pentax 645Z is cleaner that I can see. I see some noise creeping in, and ISO 200 is very clean for the Pentax. Okay. Last test, ISO 400, 50R recovering, shadows all the way up, 645Z recovering, shadows at ISO 400 all the way up. Let's compare. Okay, waiting for it to load. Oh, at this point, highlight recovery looks very similar. Shadow recovery. Let's zoom in at 400. I missed focus with the Pentax, but just looking at the noise around Salina's face, it does seem much cleaner with the Pentax. Like this area of the 50R, it's just, the grain is really fine and visible, but the grain and noise is it's less with the Pentax. Pretty interesting. My favorite shot against the sun is this one And this was actually taken with the 50R, and this was like so easy to recover. So the advantages of the 645Z is you can have both the film and digital versions of the 645 system, and you can actually use the film lenses on the 645Z. So you can use the native lenses for the 645 system, and it can be used on both film and digital 645Z. The lenses is more affordable for the Pentax because it's older, been out longer, longer battery life, and it is actually better in higher ISO and cleaner in shadows when it's recovered. And of course, if you've ever been to pentaxforums.com, it is a really awesome website, web forum, and it's one of the best forums I've ever been to, and the community of Pentax is really awesome. The advantages for the Fujifilm 50R is it's a newer system, so there's new lenses. It can resolve up to 100 megapixels, I'm pretty sure, because the GFX 100 is coming out. It does have electronic shutter, so it can go up to 1/16,000th, that's 16,000 of a second, and it can recover highlights better in my experience. And it is the lightest digital medium format camera on the market as of right now, March 2019. I believe it's even lighter than the Hasselblad X1D. And it has excellent face and eye detection. I didn't mean for this comparison of both cameras and Lightroom to be so long, but just to give you a general idea how each camera performs. But if you're new to medium format and you want to jump in, I would suggest the Fujifilm GFX, really great system. But if you have some older Pentax 645 lenses from the film era and you want to get into digital, then of course get the 645Z. And if you want to get into medium format within the budget, if you have a budget and you don't want to spend too much, the 645Z and lenses is an excellent choice. Thank you for watching Guam Photography, and please subscribe.